Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order the Capital Improvement Committee meeting of Tuesday, September 30th, 2025 at 2 p.m. First thing on their agenda, since they're walking into the room. Paul, are you ready? She'll be back in a minute.
I'm ready. Where would you like me?
Oh, you can take the seat next to...
Oh, we're ready, 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
We're not 7 o'clock. What time am I? Where am I?
Just for the record, Paul, you are live. No.
Great.
If she's joining us, you can come up and take this seat if you want.
You can sit next to Michael.
Go ahead. Come on over there. That was by design, so Paul's over there.
Again, welcome, Paul, your superintendent. I'll let Diana introduce herself.
Hi, it's Diana Landry, Business and Operation Manager for the school system.
So I'm here talking about the MSBA, which is the Massachusetts School Business Authority, and our proposal to them, and our submission for a statement of interest for a roof for the primary school. So I don't know if you have my notes. So I'll go through some of the abbreviations for you and what I learned from them. I had a conversation with them on September 19th. So the MSBA is going to vote on their October 29th Board of Director meetings as to what schools will or will not be approved into the project. We had to submit last spring. They had 99 schools submit applications. They had 96 move forward to the next step. So basically everyone but 3. They came out in August and toured all 96 schools to take a look at what the schools look like. So they came here for Douglas. They brought me here 1 hour. Went up on the roof, inside classrooms, checked windows, interior, exterior, and did that. We will be notified the week of October 20th, 2025, if we will be on the agenda. So we'll know on October 20th whether or not we make the list or we do not make the list. If we are approved for the project, our commencement date, they have 3 dates. They have 1 in February, 1 in, I think, May, and then 1 in July. Our commencement date to start the project would be July of 26. The first step in the process is schematic design, and we have 90 days from the commencement date to secure the funding for the schematic design. So if we start in July 1 of 2026, we have July, August, and September to secure the funding for it. I asked them if they could give me some form of an idea of what the cost of a schematic design is, and what they said was that in 2024, designs ranged between $100,000 and $300,000, depending on the size and the scope of the project. Those were their words. They were pretty vague. I asked them if the schematic design was eligible for reimbursement, and they said there were some parts of the schematic design that were eligible for reimbursement, which is why there's that asterisk there. I asked how long the schematic design usually takes, and they said that usually takes between 12 and 14 months to complete. I asked them for costs of projects, and all they had was 22 data. They said in 2022, window projects for similar-sized buildings were estimated at about $3 million, and roof projects for similar-sized buildings were estimated at about $1.8 million. That cost also includes the schematic design as part of it. The project, if we were accepted and the town was to fund it, would have an estimated start date of either fall of 27 or winter of 28. I asked them what the reimbursement rate was, and they said for Douglas, if we were to have done a project in 2025, the reimbursement rate was set at 57.74%, and the cost would either go up and down based on future years. And then the last question I asked, and for your information, is the town would need to appropriate the complete cost of the project, and then the MSBA would reimburse the town their percentage amount. So that's what I know from the project. Again, they were vague. If you go on their website to try to get an idea of what projects cost, all they have is old data. They don't have anything really within the past year or two up there.
Does anybody have any questions for Paul?
I wish I had more information.
Well, I have questions, don't worry. I always go last.
Go ahead.
Project starting fall of 27 or winter of 28, wouldn't it make more sense to rip the windows and roof off the building with no one in it?
I'll tell you what they gave you. So it would be fall. I don't know if it would be roof replacement. I don't know if they would do it by sections. I don't know if that's all part of the schematic design process. You're right, for the windows, they said fall or winter. You might be moving people around. That's all part of what the schematic design would look like. But you are correct. To do a project like that would make sense to do it over the summer. I don't know if you could do a complete roof and window and door project in a 7-week window of time.
That was just a curiosity.
Yeah, that's what they told me.
I remember a TV show, they built houses in a week, but.
Yeah. I watch those too.
Obviously, those are not state contractors working on the
Yeah.
state bids
Yeah.
with prevailing wage.
You good on your questions, Chris?
I'm good, yeah.
All right. Are we obligated to use their designer for the schematic design?
They give us a list of approved, and then we would go through, if I remember the process correctly, we would interview different schematic design companies. We would put in a bid proposal
Yeah.
for A, B, C, D.
Okay.
And then we would select low bid. Obviously, you could throw out low bid, but we couldn't go outside the process. We couldn't go outside the process. Does that make sense?
You have to use their list?
You would have people submit.
You would put out an RFP, right? A request for proposals. So Chris could put in one, Ellie could put one in one.
As long as they met the criteria.
All right,
from the
okay.
state.
So that was my question, whether or not it was from their list or
Yeah.
other people. Shirley, when the school project got done, did that go through BFCC, or was that a separate committee that was created and BFCC wasn't part of it?
It was sort of both.
It was pre-you, Paul, that's why I'm asking
Yeah.
Shirley the question.
The FCC stand for?
Building and Facilities Committee. And that was,
Construction committee. Yeah.
that was created thinking the town would have a permanent building committee, which would include the school committee, the schools.
April 10, 2010 is when it was created, if you wanted to know.
But they still, if I remember correctly, the school committee had to go with the criteria for the school.
Yeah, all right, so I just don't know if it goes through the BFCC, so.
No, it still had to go through,
My guess is that if
Yeah.
you're using state funding,
yeah,
you're going to have to follow their criteria.
that's right.
for-
Yep. Yep.
I do remember, though, in hearing all this, Douglas was one of the first, which was amazing, really. We got funds to redo the middle school, I think it was, plus build the new school.
Okay.
Yeah, they did extraordinary repairs to the middle school.
Yeah. Thank you, Jean. Yeah.
So is this just for information today, Paul, because you're not looking for any action from this committee today?
Gene asked me to come.
I know that, so.
I did as I was told.
So, you did
Don't
it.
pick on
I'm not picking on.
No. We all feel your pain, we understand, we
I was
understand.
told.
You do not go
I'll always do
against,
as I'm told, but this time I did do as I was told.
even if she says run through that wall instead of the door, you still do it without questioning, I get it. So anyways,
So provide some context for you, Mike, and correct me if I'm wrong, Gene.
she will.
I just want to make sure she feels comfortable doing it. The original start dates, as we said, were February, May, and July. One of the things we had to submit for the proposal was documentation from Matt that if we were successful with going to the project, there'd be a commitment from the town to go to town meeting to secure the funding. So Matt had put in the letter that he wrote to the MSBA that we have a fall town meeting in November and then we have our annual town meeting in May. Based off of that timeline is why they chose to push us out to the July, because they didn't think there'd be enough time from the October 29th meeting to the fall town meeting 3 weeks later to put a warrant article on it. I believe there is...
Well, the warrant's closed at that point, so you're going to get it on.
So I believe there's a placeholder for it now, but based off of the information they have now, we could wait until the spring town meeting.
Yeah, and that's how I seen it. I had spoken to Gene about that last week in the office when I read that. I said, you can actually do this in the spring because you have 90 days past July.
Correct.
Obviously, we don't have a meeting in between that and November, May and November, so we'll have better information by the spring and then know what direction you need to go in.
Yeah, this changed, but I think it's important that he repeats his story more than once.
No, no, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and it got a little confusing between the town administrator's letter memo to you,
Right.
this document, and Gene, and so I had to referee a little bit, but
On the cost estimate of the 100 to 300 between now and spring, the 100, one, estimate.
Yes, we would,
Yeah.
correct. And again, when I spoke to Allison, I'm like, Allison, like, I know I'm going to get asked the question, what's schematic design?
Yep.
Because again, I saw a couple quotes out there for like 50, 59,000. She goes, it can be as high as 300,000. We put it for roof, windows, and doors, is what this project calls for. They may give us all three. They may give us one of the three. They may give us two of the three. They may give us half the roof.
or you could be one of the three from the last go-round.
Or we could be one of the last go around. They might give us half the windows. So again, she gave us this range based off of, if you do the whole thing, it could go as high as $300,000. If you only do one of the things, so again, we'll have to see what we get approved for, if anything, at our October 29th meeting, and then we can have a better idea of what schematic design.
Makes more sense for you to go May than...
Correct. So again, I don't know if the range is going to be, within within $10,000, but it should be greater than $200,000 range. Yeah.
And this is, I'm sorry, this is just for the elementary?
Just for the primary.
old elementary?
The old elementary, the new primary. I want to make sure.
Yeah.
Not the elementary school that was just built 10 years ago.
No.
The primary school that's circa early 70s.
Yeah. Okay.
That roof is, I think it's a 30-year-old roof, and, the roof is about 40 years old. It was always supposed to last 30. So it's already on its like 6th live of 9 lives. And we know at some point we're going to have to replace it. Anyone who's been at the primary school first, that building's solid. I mean, the bones and core of it is good, but like, it needs a little bit of work. And if we have the ability to have the state fund half of it, I'd rather have the state fund half of it than something happen and have to have the town fund or the school department fund 100% of it. At some point that.
Is there any logic to not go through the state and just hire your schematic people and your builders on your own? I mean, how much less would that be, or would it be more? Because you still probably would have to do prevailing wage.
You still have to do prevailing wage.
Because unless you got somebody that could do it for one person.
No, you couldn't, the building's way too large. So that's substantially larger than this building here. And we just had that roof replaced, and that's up here. We spent $400,000, $450,000 to have that roof done.
With no grant.
With no grant. But the contractors on the state bid list, they're typically on there because they're a little more reasonable than somebody just out well, that's how they get in the preferred list. Not always the case, but most of the time, that's what it is. We do have, Matt deemed it the house doctor, Weston and Sampson, so it's something that, Paul, you could talk to Matt about and maybe get their opinion on it, and you can get some information real quick to find out where you're going to go, but I don't think you're going to save, if they're going to reimburse 57.4%, there's no way you're going to go outside the system and get something less than 43% of what the actual cost is. It's just impossible to get that low. If they're that far off, something's drastically wrong.
But you still have to pay them. So I think if I see the question correctly, is it cheaper for us to go and find Bill's Construction Company to come in and pay them 100%, 100 cents on the bill? First go with the state and go through their contractors and pay
43%.
43% on the top. My guess is no, because if that was the case, someone already thought of that system and tried to do it with all the construction.
I always think of things like that.
But it's something worth looking into if we get close to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when we went through this, real quickly, when we went through this process for this building, we were very specific. You had to be certified by the vendor for the roofing material so we could get the maximum amount of warranty out of it. We have a 30-year warranty, not just material, but also labor on this particular roof that was up here. That was something that we specified to go out there. So those are all the different things that I'm sure that Paul would be in contact with the administrator, that he's up to speed on, because we're doing that. We're going to do it on the fire department. They had to be certified by the manufacturer. That way we could maximize our warranties. But there's no way you could get down to 43% of the cost if you went outside. I don't see how that could even be possible. Because then you want to have state bid lists. But it's a good question, but I don't think we could get cheaper.
I wish I had better numbers, but they were very vague.
Well, this is all just hypothetical, right? So until Paul actually gets how much area is he talking about? Is there existing material underneath, or is it, what last time it was done, was it brought down to the deck? There's coring samples that, and we've been through this on numerous projects, coring samples that need to be done to the existing roof to find out what's in there. Is there tar and gravel down the bottom, or is it just insulation on it? There's no consistent leaks that's going to rot out the structure. I'm not worried about that. But I don't know what's underneath that roof. Who knows what they did 30 or 40 years ago? Just about anything.
And who knows what they did when they repaired the roof?
Well, when they put the new rubber on there,
Yeah.
right? Did they take off everything? I have no idea what they did with that. And we went and through the process, the recommendation would be to pursue a PVC roof versus an EDPM roof, because you get 30 years versus 20 years on the warranty. So the roof that he has up there is actually a 20-year roof. It's like an inner tube in a tire. So, well, that's what it is. Same material, same exact material. Yes.
So we'll pull this off this town meeting, and then we'll decide whether or not we want to be in the spring special or the spring annual. The spring special will take effect immediately. The spring annual, the funds will be available for July 1st. So, thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I think this is a big project, and to get in front of a couple of boards early is better than waiting till the budget season starts and then, get mixed in with everything else.
Any questions from you or anything you want to add? No?
No, thank you.
Just making sure. Paul's pretty intimidating, so I just wanted to make sure.
Thank you for having us. And
Yeah.
even just considering this again, like when I came to the board of selectmen, because we needed their vote to submit the application, Tim said, so we can either pay 100 cents on the dollar, or we can get 20, 30, 40, 50% reimbursed. I said, exactly. So it sounds like it's a no-brainer. It is, but we got to that first hurdle. We made 96 and 99. That was the second hurdle.
Yeah.
Next one will be if we make it to the board on the
Yep.
29th.
Yep.
we'll go from there.
Yeah, like Gene says, the more you talk about it, it's not a surprise. We need to know things about, like that anyway, so we can plan accordingly. If somebody comes in before you and then we say, oh yeah, and then you come in and it's actually a strong need. But anyways, appreciate you coming in. Thanks for the information.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to meet
Nice meeting
everyone.
you. Yep.
Thank you very much.
Mike, I'm sorry to interrupt. Can I just check? I just want to check this microphone real quick.
No, go ahead.
I don't know why. I want to make sure it's actually kicking. Check, 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 check. Check, check. Well, that's what I keep checking. No tricky stuff, just checking.
All right, yeah, I just jumped ahead so we, in respect to their time, so and they could go through their process. I handed out this thing with a whole bunch of different numbers on it, so I'm going to hand this over to Chris to explain what it is that we have.
I don't remember exactly which meeting it was a few meetings ago. Mike had presented us with the bylaw for this committee. And section 3 of that was a lot of demographic information that this board was supposed to, or is supposed to collect and maintain. The spreadsheet you have in front of you is one that I maintain for other purposes, but it either directly or indirectly or implies a lot of the answers to these questions. So has nothing to do with population. Does have the value of all of our commercial, industrial, personal property, and residential real estate broken down. See your budget from 2022 through 2025. Ignore 2026. It's a dummy year for me to fill in as the numbers become real for this year. It does not, like I said, it doesn't have any of our population information. I think that from both Gene and probably some from the school for student population, though I think Gene has that. But it's just, it has all our tax rates, assessments, does not have our capital commitments or everything like that, but it is mostly the financial demographics of the town, the value of properties over time. Doesn't do projection. That's a very difficult thing to do because there's the whole bureaus in Washington, D.C. that try to figure out what the economy is going to do with it directly affects that. But it was just, that's what this is. It's partially answering a lot of these questions. When things get a little slower, so maybe 10 or 20 years from now, I can narrow these numbers down and repurpose this into a full spreadsheet that serves our specific purposes. But I just wanted to show you what we have, about half the information I think now.
So I had asked Chris this, if he could to help us complete the other half of our task, which is information that we're supposed to have, as he said, populations and school enrollments and things. I believe we're supposed to look back 10 years and look ahead 10 years. I don't know how we do that, but I guess we can guess as much as we can with that. Chris started putting together. But just so we can get the rest of our tasks done, so Chris has just started doing this. And I'm sure there'll be more coming along as time allows. This here, I don't know if everybody understands it, what he just explained. Is everybody good with what you have here? Yeah.
No.
No.
What's CIP?
So CIP, when you look at the 3 columns before, you have commercial, industrial, and personal property.
Oh, okay.
So 3.
Got it. Okay.
This, if you ever watch my classification hearing I do in November for the Board of
It's
Selectmen,
exciting. I encourage everybody to come.
it's better than sleeping pills. Part of when they make a decision on setting the tax rate is setting the residential tax factor or shifting taxes from SIP or from residential to SIP, commercial, industrial, personal property. So that's
Just not KIP?
nope, it's SIP. So if you look on the back side of the page, you'll also see the Prop 2.5
Oh, there's a
as
backside.
far as how much revenue growth we get from Prop 2.5 and how much we get from new construction in town. So more of your organic new growth.
Everybody good on that? Everybody good?
Yep.
All right, as you recall, we voted at town meeting to transfer money out of the ambulance stabilization account for the purchase of the new ambulance, short of the stretcher and the related equipment that was in there. So in your packet, you have a memo from Chief Frenno, John Frenno, dated the September 29th. And what he is requesting is an additional $60,000 to supplement Article 10 from the May 5th, 2025 annual town meeting, ambulance and equipment purchase and associated costs. The original article was funded at $500,000, but the amount was reduced to $450,000 due to available funds in the ambulance receipts accounts. Current allocations is $307,000 for the ambulance, $307,000 for the ambulance, $119,000 for the cardiac monitors, they've already been purchased, and $76,000 for the stretcher and mounting system, which was quoted in March of 2025. The stretcher and mounting system will not be ordered for approximately 1 year at the expected delivery date of the ambulance, which is December 26. Given the delay, we anticipate a cost increase by the time the equipment is actually ordered. The additional $60,000 will ensure full funding for all associated equipment and allow flexibility to address potential price escalations. Anybody have any questions on that?
This is still coming from
Ambulance receipts, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So it's your own money.
It'll be transferred out of that. Everything that we do, I always ask for a buffer, and then if the department head or the whoever is asking for the approval, I always want to understand if they added anything into it, so I'm not adding stuff or suggesting that we add stuff into it to make sure that the project gets completed. I believe he feels there'll be somewhere around a $10,000 buffer in there. They should be safe. And that'll probably come back to haunt me later, but we'll find out. If everybody's good with that, I would look for a motion. I want to approve these things as we go through them, so that way they're done independently and we make sure we covered everybody.
I move to amend the Article 10.
Amend?
Second.
To supplement Article 10 from the May 5th annual town meeting with an additional $60,000 for associated
Before we
costs.
do that, do we want to amend or just approve the additional $60,000 from?
I think for the town meeting, I'll put it as a either amendment or supplement.
Supplement, I think is the right word.
Supplement, yeah, I like that.
My only question is, do we want to fund this now or in the spring? Because if they're not going to order it until December of 2026, are you comfortable?
I would have zero problem waiting until the spring. I don't know why they're asking for it now.
Did
I didn't have a conversation
Is there a lead time issue with this stuff like there is in the ambulances?
That could be a possibility. A lead time on the, you can come up with us, nobody else is coming in.
Yeah, come on.
I asked if there was a possible lead time issue, like there's
Which is
ambulances.
what I thought would happen, except will not be ordered for approximately 1 year. I expected it to have a lead time as well, until I was listening to Mike read the memo.
All right, let's pass over that. Let's just put that off to the side, and I'm going to check with John first. But I'm just conscious of somebody turning into a pumpkin and trying to.
Oh, I'm good today.
Oh, you're good today?
I don't have to work today.
Okay.
Wow.
If everybody could just read the minutes for a minute, I'm
Sure.
gonna check with John and Al.
Just want to have all the funding ready. Have that man.
Did I get that?
Yeah, if he's not ordering it for a year,
The price changes.
he gives a real number.
Are you here? I was causing trouble. I was.
So we anticipate the cost increase. We still have to do that.
Yeah, it's fine. Go for the prices in spring.
When he was speaking, it sounded like the other mics were picking him up. Like that one's not picking it up directly. I don't know. That's the new one, so.
This one is?
Yeah.
So I spoke with Chief Furno, and what he wants to do is be able to just secure the whole article and be able to move forward with it and not have it hanging out there. He just wants to put it behind him. So if it's coming out of ambulance receipts, it's not going to come out until it's purchased anyways.
Well, it's transferred out of ambulance receipts and put into, it'll be put into the article.
Okay.
Which is okay.
Yep, no, that's fine.
Just,
Yep.
You need to come back a third time for it. They're not going to order it and the price could go up.
Yeah, so if he has about a 15% buffer in it, I think it'll be safe. And he does as well. So if you can continue with your supplement.
Move to supplement Article 10 of the May 5th, 2025 annual town meeting by allocating another $60,000 from ambulance receipts for the ambulance equipment to outfit it.
Second.
For what did you say?
The equipment to outfit the ambulance. That's stretcher and mounting system.
We just have to be careful how this is worded.
Yeah.
Because sometimes,
Hopefully, full funding for all associated equipment and allow flexibility to address potential price escalations. I'll use his language.
So the presentation on the special will be ambulance purchase and associated cost amendment. I'll increase it by the 60,000 and reference the article that it was originally voted,
Which was all equipment and cost.
which is the same thing. Ambulance equipment.
so you're fine with the wording of the motion?
Ambulance, it's to supplement the Article 10 of the annual town meeting.
Right.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
ambulance equipment purchase and all associated costs.
Yep.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, the next thing we have up here is the hot box. That's for the road patching. what Adam is looking to do is add a second hot box, so then he's enabled to put out 2 crews doing patching. Currently, what they do, which he's opposed to, but he doesn't have any other options, is he'll send out somebody to do a cold patch, which comes out in a day or 2. This will enable him to properly patch it, and then it should be good for quite some time. So he's looking for a hot box, a plate compactor to go with that, and this jumping jack compactor. It looks like a pogo stick on steroids. It's something that they borrow when they need it out of the water department, and they really, considering all the work that they do in these trenches and stuff, they should have their own. So that's why that one was added in there. So the total cost is $46,225. He's requesting.
They couldn't come up with better.
He's requesting $50,000 to cover the cost of that, again, to make sure that he has no issues with purchasing it in case it goes up a few dollars, but he's gotten, double-checked the cost, and it's still stable as of right now. If you look at their paper in the back, when a quick look, it looks like it's 41 million, but if you look at closely, there's the 4 spaces after the decimal point, which kind of throws off your eye. It's actually 41,000, not 41 million. Anybody have any questions on that? Hot box, jumping jack, and compactor plate?
It was, wasn't it something that they have to go to, I don't know, Waltham or something like that to get the tar or whatever they do for,
No, I think they get it out of Millbury.
or Millbury then? Okay, I was just making up a town, but it was, that's
Well,
not,
Millbury, or I think that Uxbridge also has an asphalt plant. So either one of the 2. Yeah, there's one down by the old Whitey's auction barn. You remember where that was? Quaker Highway. Across from where Licks used to be. You remember that place? That was the ice cream place. Come on.
no, I never go to ice cream
Anyway,
places.
down on 146A.
Yeah.
There's a asphalt plant down there, and then there's another one up in Millbury.
No, I just remember when they were describing it before, when we had one, that they had to go out and get the hot stuff and then bring it back here. And I just, my mind's gone cuckoo anyway, but I just thought it was a pretty big effort to go and get the hot stuff too.
Well, they do it this way here, they can heat it on, they heat their own. That's what this is all about. This isn't transporting it hot from somewhere to use it.
Oh, so you don't have to do that anymore.
Heats it up.
Yeah. So they don't have one of these at all?
They have one now.
Okay. I guess I missed that one.
This is a second one that they're trying to add.
Okay.
Mike, is also the patch stuff that they were getting wasn't,
Well, it's a cold patch, so
Yeah.
it's just,
It just falls
exactly
apart.
what it is. It's just cold, and well, everybody's experienced it. Nobody pounds it in. They make a mess on it. You drive through it, and it hits your car until everybody packs it down. But that is first rainstorm. It's out of the ground. It's gone.
yeah. Okay. Ray, you want a motion?
Yes.
I move we approve the request of Highway Department for $50,000 to purchase a new KM8000T hot box and associated compact equipment.
Second. Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The next thing is our infamous trailer that we have at the highway barn. So Gene has been heading this up to try to see if we can negotiate a purchase on it, because there's no end in sight, and we currently spend
Over 1,000 now.
$1,100, something like that, a month. To run this thing. So this here, so 1,100 would be 13,000. This is maybe 2 years of rental on this. And This is a budget number, and Jean, as well as I know her, will negotiate whatever she can to see if it can get reduced, but we know we can purchase it for this amount.
And if the highway barn gets built, then we can sell it.
You can sell it, or you could use it for other projects. It's in good shape, and so it's not, doesn't rot away. It's-
Sitting on site.
Excuse me?
We're buying the one that's sitting on
Yes,
site.
yep.
So is that a lesser amount of money then? Is that, do you know anything about it?
A lesser amount of money than what?
If I had to speculate,
I mean, it's been used for 2 years or 3 years?
No, it's a used price, right? So it's like
So,
a
okay,
used car.
that's what I'm
It's-
asking.
If you went to buy a brand new one, it wouldn't be near this cost.
Okay.
I mean, just thinking off the top of my head, acquiring land, constructing a highway barn, and occupying it's going to take more than 2 years.
Right. No, it just makes logical
Yeah,
sense to
it's almost
do this.
no-brainer.
Is that I pushed from this for day one, actually, but
So what I did is we negotiated a 6-month extension on our current lease. I held them till June. Pushed that out, negotiated so that county approved this. We could, instead of signing a 2 or 3 year lease on the existing trailer. So it still has to go before town meeting has to approve. But if it gets approved, then we can look to purchase it.
nobody else has any questions, look for a motion on that.
Did we want to stick with that number or add a little?
No, I wouldn't add any, Jean's comfortable, I got this from Jean, this number, so if she's comfortable with it, I'm comfortable with it.
I would just round it up, but,
28,000?
Yeah, 27, one of those two, and just so it's an even number. This will be held, so whatever is not spent out of it will be transferred to another capital project.
Yeah,
I will
so
close-
27.5.
Kelly, do you have a copy of that? Or maybe,
What, this thing?
yeah, okay, all right. Yep. I got it. Thank you.
I move we approve $27,500 for Jean's new office.
Oh, boy. Promises you can't keep.
If I ever heard. She doesn't care where you put the thing. If you gave her own private home, now you have a problem.
For the mobile office at the highway department, including looks like the steel steps and the furniture.
Second the motion.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And you have a problem.
As long as there are raccoons in it, she's fine.
Oh, jeez.
So the next thing that we have on there is we approved at town meeting $23,000, and that was for the HVAC for conditioning the new proposed record storage area, which is the old locker room downstairs. And the prices came in at $24,090 and $24,500 from two different sources. So what we're looking to do is to make sure that it goes through. I would suggest that we amend or add or supplement, however we're going to do it, the $23,000 with an additional $4,000 to make sure that there is no hiccups this time and we can just get it done.
How quick is Adam able to turn around and get it requoted? Or are the quotes?
It's already requoted.
All right, so
These quotes are recent.
so they're real numbers.
They're real numbers, but
Yeah, add a little.
everything changes.
A note on every Renat invoice now, or every Renat quote, that you have basically a day to accept, or
Yeah.
they reserve the right to requote it.
Right. In the market, things are fluctuating so much on equipment costs. That's what's driving up their costs. The whole HVAC industry is upside down because they've come out with new rules about all these foolish pieces of equipment that you can't use and whatever. So anyways, the request would be to supplement the $23,000 for the historical records HVAC system with an additional $4,000 to ensure that it can be done.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Seeing as none, all in favor?
Aye.
I'm going to talk about the other thing, Gene. Don't worry, I won't skip over it. I'm just making sure that we covered everything. Yeah, I believe so. So the other thing that we have on here is from the last annual town meeting. Was it the last annual town meeting? Yes, it was the last annual, I'm sorry. Last annual town meeting, we had, just want to make sure I read it the right way.
I think it was the November one.
Was it the November one?
Yeah. You want me to grab it?
If you could, please. So what you're going to grab is the fire department HVAC renovate electrical upgrades. And we had voted but not funded the improvements there because we didn't know what the numbers were. So currently we have sitting in two separate accounts, and one from 2021 and one for electrical upgrades, and then one from 2024, I believe was for the HVAC. The totals $444,000. When it went out to bid, all the work involved in there came up to, I think, $960,000. We had encumbered $300,000 from the opera funds. So with that, with the 444, we're about $200,000 short. Yeah, but where did I see it? It said that we voted on it, but it's not funded at this time. It's in one of these things. But anyways, we had $300,000 from the opera funds. We have from the town meeting in 2021 and the town meeting in 2024, those combined were $444,000. That put us at $744. And the bids came in somewhere around $960. I was hoping that the administrator was here to go through this, but he must have got tied up and he's not here. But another key thing happened. With opera funds, they had to be obligated by December 31st of 2024 and paid out by December 31st of 2026. Because we fell short, we made a decision to take the $300,000 opera obligation to the fire department and transfer it to Depot Street. And we had some overruns with sidewalks and these other things that came up. In my head, $300,000 and basically $200,000 makes me $500,000 short, or it makes us for this project. This is a conversation that the finance director and the town administrator need to hash out as to what this actually is, but we don't have an opportunity to meet again before the close of the warrant. The warrant, for whatever reason, they want to close at the first meeting in October, which is next week. I guess timing, you got to get to the printers and everybody else that's involved in this. if the committee is comfortable with that, we know what the scope of the work is. It hasn't changed. They had the lightning strike, I think that was the 2021 issue, that the lightning strike, that's what started all this foolishness. And then they evaluated the building, and the building, when it was built around 2000, it was built more like a residential building than a commercial building with the type of wiring that's in it. But then, back then, they didn't have all this stuff that they charged, all these batteries and everything else. So the system itself needs to be substantially upgraded to correct that. And then there's other issues now with the HVAC that have to be corrected, that's been identified through the architect, as well as air samples and stuff like that that's been done in that building. What I would suggest is maybe we come up with a not-to-exceed number, right? We're not funding a lot of things this fall, so I don't know what the numbers are that we have to work with, but my impression is we're still safe, that we could actually fund these projects. If we have $444,000 in there, in our packet, I think, in the town meeting, I think it was $425,000 that they were looking for. But I think if we went to 560, it would give you enough to make sure you could get the project done. If we go through this process and we fall short again, it's going to be like infamous fire alarm on the top floor that started at 28 and ended up at 130 or whatever it is, after 3 or 4 times going to the town meeting, and it's still not done. So that's my thought on it. I don't know if anybody else has any other thoughts or any questions that I could try to answer. If Gene has any input, I would take that as well.
Question, Mike?
Yep.
Now, do we still have ARPA funds in there?
Nope, ARPA funds are gone. They had to be obligated by December 31st of 2024, so those are off. They're all that stuff's been obligated, not depleted yet. There's only two left. One is for the highway department design. Is about $61,000 in there.
Okay.
And the rest of it is over here on Depot Street, which is like 1.3 or something. It's probably dwindled since then. I give that back to Gene.
Okay.
So there is the opera bus is driven away.
I understand, but
Yep. No, but the funds
I've
are there.
been hearing off and on when we've talked,
Yep.
committee, whatever,
Right.
that there was ARPA funds for highway.
There's $61,000 left in that account last time I checked, and nothing's been spent out of it, so I would assume that it's still there.
And that has to be spent by
December 31st of
61.
26.
I'm sorry,
Not fiscal year
26.
26,
Yeah.
calendar year 26.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Took me a long time for Gene to teach me that, but I finally got that in my head. There's a difference between the two.
Okay.
Roasting today.
Thank you.
I don't remember where I had heard at some point that there was possibility of breaking the project up into, I think there was a wall to be constructed, electrical work and HVAC. It's not updated now and back.
Yeah, there's been some conversation about that. I guess it's a possibility.
Now, are you talking about?
About splitting up the project and trying to do it in different phases. If it was my opinion, I would say just do it, get it done and over with, because all this procrastination and delays, you just don't get the work done, and the price goes up, and we end up spending more money, right? I'm sure back in '21, the electrical price was probably pretty close to the money that we put in there. It isn't today, and no fault, everybody has good intentions, I'm not saying, not trying to be ignorant about it or difficult about it, but it's just, if we're trying to save $200,000, what are we saving in the scheme of things? Right? At some point, the work just needs to get done and finish it. they come up with a creative approach, they come up with a creative approach. The positive side of it is that money ends up staying in a capital identity, I guess, for lack of a better description, and it just rolls forward.
The
Chief
overriding
has,
question was, that hasn't happened. There has not been a wall constructed or partial work done, so we're still funding the entire project.
yeah, and that's the approach that I would go with it personally, just to get it finished. Jean gave me this little sheet. This was her, you call it carry forward? And
Pay-as-you-go carry forwards.
you want to explain that a little bit to them?
You're familiar with it, so at the end of every year, I look at the projects that have been voted, approved, and completed. And upon the notice from whoever was in charge of that capital project, we have them available for the next capital. So we are closing out $171,856 that would be used towards the votes that you've taken today. That would be the post office senior center parking lot, the municipal center backup generator, the municipal center roof project, the post office 10-ton HVAC, municipal center HVAC units, and the police cruisers. Police cruisers is a little different. I did leave it as a pay-as-you-go. It was originally in the operating budget, but that was $11,000 from the last purchase, FY25, and the highway department lawnmowers. So collectively, that totals $1,71856 would be used towards this, the list you put in today.
Yeah. Can you explain to them what you want to do with those two other items?
So what I would like to do, because this would be the third time we vote this project, I would like to, if you look at the article, you usually have what you approved, and then you have transfers from. So we have one general one that says fire station repairs and improvements. I would leave that one alone. I would then do a transfer from the original, which is the fire station electrical upgrade. So I would kind of like close that out and put it into here with any new monies that you fund to complete the project. And just name it one collective thing instead of having all little pieces.
Well, that's going to save us if the electrical bid is higher and the HVAC is lower.
Right.
Right, well, that's the problem that Gene runs into is because of the way we word things kind of puts us in a little bit of a pickle, so that's why I made sure that what you said about the stretcher was correct.
Yeah, so it's fire station repairs and improvement will be the article name, and then...
But transfers from other articles.
It would transfer from the
Electrical
fire
upgrade.
station electrical upgrade, and it would be new money voted, whatever you decide today.
Right.
So what would the new money?
I want to supplement both of those with an additional 560 would be my recommendation. My math,
Well, she had 125 of other stuff that would be transferred, correct?
no. Don't confuse.
I'm not worried.
Yeah.
That's what I'm asking. I'm not
Don't
worried about
the
funding.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about what I'm spending.
You're
Yeah.
just worried about what you're...
So if I make a motion to add an additional $560,000 to the fire department improvement project, is that what you called it?
Well, it's I guess, what is the total cost of the project going to be collectively?
I don't know. So what I want, so this is what my goal is for everybody sitting here, is to come up with a number that the finance director and leave this meeting with, knowing that she has to work with the agreement of this committee. And it's mostly like a not to exceed number. So then she don't have to employ us to come back. And if it's project splitting or however it works, and the number's lower, we're fine with that. And then they can just change it. But I want to make sure that
So the 440
the town administrator and the finance director have the ability to just make their decision and move forward with this in a productive manner.
So I would say the account currently has, because I'm using the fire station repairs improvement account, you currently have $236,100.
And you're estimating we need $1,004,000.
No, I'm thinking that I believe that the bid came back at somewhere around 960, right? So I don't want to be $40,000 short and not be able to get the job done, right? But it's not only the 236, and they're part of the scope of the work includes the other piece that you shouldn't give you the total on, which is...
Well, the 208, 74182, that will be, that's going to be a transfer. So but you're adding to this article, this fire station repairs and improvements, the amount that you need to complete the project. So you have 236,
So you'll deal with closing out the
100.
other accounts, and you'll show that as the funding piece on the town meeting warrant.
Right. But you need to increase this budget from whatever number you decide and subtract the 236, 100, and that's the amount that you would need.
Okay. So 253.9. If my math is correct. I mean, 753.9.
Yeah.
If we want to get to $1 million.
How much was in the fire, wait a minute, how much was in the fire department for the HVAC and the electrical upgrades? What was the, is there two numbers there, 236 and 208?
Correct.
Okay, humor me for 1 minute. 236 and 208, that gives you the 444, right? When it went out the bid, that number was there. There was also 300,000 for opera. Right? So that puts you at 744, right? Follow me so far?
Yeah?
Okay. The bids went out and they came in at 960.
Yeah.
So now I have a deficit of 216,000, right?
Well, I thought opera went somewhere else.
I know that, just, so you're short 216,000. The 300,000 that was in opera went away. That gets added to the 216. That puts you at $516,000 short.
Right, but I'm combining the articles. So to add to the fire repairs and improvement account, I need 700,000. I'm going to be taking 200 of that from a different...
So you're going to show where it came from.
So
That's fine.
it's not going to be netted.
Nope, that's fine.
So that if the taxpayer would look...
And I think I misheard you. You said 516. I wrote down 560.
No, I said 560.
Oh, you did say-
I did say 560. I just did the math accurate.
Because I
Fine.
think this article, Article 14, it says to see if the town will vote to transfer from free cash, whatever, the project estimated for electrical, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, and all associated costs. Does that encompass everything you want to do with all the articles, with like all the pieces?
I think so. So what you're going to suggest is that we add
763.9 to the 236.1 that's already in there.
And then as part of the funding source, I would be closing out the fire station electrical upgrade. I just don't want to pigeonhole
So
anything.
the 2024 would be, Gene will close it out and transfer that as part of the funding.
If you tell
So you need a minimum of 724 to break even if my 960 is correct, right? So whether we want to go with 750 or 760, I don't like being that close on the number, especially where your bid's a year old now.
But my question is, does this article, the language in this article, cover everything you want to do?
So the article that she's referring to is Article 14, and this is from the fall of
24.
24. So that's the fall meeting of fiscal year 25, though.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, I'm paying attention.
Right, good.
Okay. So, just in case somebody's paying attention, we're going to confuse them with this fiscal year and calendar year stuff. So that motion was I moved the town to vote to transfer from free cash a sum of $236. Project costs, in parentheses, project costs estimated at $450, less opera funding. For electrical, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, and all associated costs. No, because there's also general contractor conditions in there there's a petition wall that needs to be built, there's ballads that have to go outside.
Wouldn't that be under all associated costs?
No, because you're specifically calling out electrical, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning that has nothing to do with building a wall. So I know about getting window shades for windows, and you have to make sure that you're accurate on what you
Okay.
put down.
So then, we will have to have a name, whatever you call this.
Right. So the scope of the work for everybody here, and maybe we can do it this way, and if I can't, just tell me, is the goal is we have to get the electrical, the HVAC, what else was, ventilation on there? Is there a fourth thing, or only three?
Air conditioning.
No, that's
Heating,
HVAC.
ventilation, air conditioning.
Yeah,
That's what it's like.
right. So along with that, there's also some general contractor conditions. There's a petition wall that has to go upstairs in their exercise area to separate that from the engine bays because of air quality. It has to be sectioned off. They have to put those guard posts outside so people aren't crashing into equipment and stuff that's outside. And there was some minor things that the general contractor had to do, but it's all related to just finishing all these necessary repairs at the fire department.
So
If everybody's comfortable moving forward with that general term, and this will be solidified between the finance director and the town administrator as to how the wording's going to be on the warrant. The bottom line is we're going to be short say $550,000, the way it's going to be worded is we're going to transfer $750,000 from free cash into that, and then the funds, the $208,000 that is in the HVAC upgrades is going to be, or is it the electric? Which one are you transferring?
The electrical.
So the 208 from the electrical will be transferred into that, so it'll reduce what comes out of the free cash by the 208. So out of free cash, it'll be $532,000.
So,
If I confuse everybody, just ask me and I'll try to explain it.
but you're saying the wording of that article won't cover the general contractor and site.
Right now, what Gene was asking is if I could use the exact wording that's in that article to simplify it, but it doesn't encompass the additional work that will not.
so the article will be the capital article. It'll be fires, we'll have to put fire station repairs and improvements to include the scope of it. I'll look for language from them. We will increase it by 700 and,
I had 763.9.
763.9.
It said 750, but
so that plus the 236,100 will give you enough to fund this. As part of the funding source, I will be closing out the fire station electrical upgrade of 208. I just don't think you can fit that separate article in there.
Right.
And that way town meeting sees one project and
Yep.
they see the other one's closing.
Yeah, and it's just going to be explained as though why we weren't able to.
So we will have to increase the scope of the article
Yep.
to include
Right.
whatever, you'll have to come up with the wording
Right.
for that.
So I move we supplement Article 14 of the Fall 24 special town meeting by $763,900 and increase the scope of the project to include any construction and exterior site work
General conditions.
and general contractor costs.
Yeah.
And that makes it an even $1 million.
Anybody want to second that?
I second that.
Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion?
Could you just repeat those figures one more time,
Sure.
please?
What's sitting in the current article that we're supplementing is $236,100. We're going to supplement that article with an additional $763,900 to make it an even $1 million. So that gives us $40,000 beyond the $960 that was voted a year ago. Hopefully that's enough. So that's the motion, and to increase the scope of the article to include the general contractor work, the construction, and the bollards. And I just
general
did external
conditions,
site work, so if there's something else they have to put curbs or anything, they can do it. So that's the motion. When Jean will get the language nailed down for the warrant article, and she's going to do some transfers of...
Yeah, part of the funding source will be the 208 that was voted for the electrical upgrades will offset that 763,900.
These are numbers as of June 30th, so I'll confirm that those are where they stand today.
Perfect timing. So I'm going to put that vote on hold so we can explain. Come up here, Matt, if you want. Explain to you what we're trying to get through this. So we're on the fire department upgrades and improvements. So my understanding is we're somewhere around 960 when it went out for bid. Is that right? Okay. So just assuming that we do it that way, I wanted to make sure there was enough in there. So we just went through the motions of explaining that 300 getting moved over. And Chris just made a motion to transfer $763,900, which out of that 208 will offset that. It'll actually be about $550,000 for a fast math. And Jean is going to create a new article that identifies the HVAC, the ventilation, the electrical, the general contractor conditions and things like that. We had said that she'll work with you on that so you can get the wording on it. But that'll give you $1 million in that budget in order to get that work done. Is that sufficient for that? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more than enough. It's coming from a meeting about different topics. I was extremely excited to have my phone buzz in the middle of the meeting, and it was McRitchie Engineering with a large set of CAD files attached to the email. So they've given us all of our drawings for all the HVAC and all the electrical work that needs to be done. So we now have what we need to go out to bid. It's taken about 6 months to get McRitchie to give us that, so pretty excited. But so now we have the relatively minor improvements that need to be made in the building, and were drawn by Weston Sampson. And then McRitchie did all the technical work, so we're ready to go out to bid. I think it's going to be more than enough.
Yeah.
As we've said in public meetings, this project came in over budget because of the rigidity of state statute and how we put it out to bid as a general contractor managed project. The general contractor put their markup on the other people's work. So the sub bids for electrical and HVAC came in under budget, but the entire project came in over budget because the general contractor marked up the technical work by 20-25%. So I'm going to go about perhaps doing electrical 1 year and HVAC another year just to separate the projects and to make it manageable for our fire department to have that much work going on in the building all at once. But
So it will be one budget.
one funding source.
One budget called Fire Station Repairs and Improvements, and we're increasing the scope of that article so that it's, if one goes over, we're not pigeonholed into anything.
Sounds good to me.
And it should be more than enough.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
So a motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussions or questions for the administrator before we vote? Seeing as none, all in favor?
Aye.
Timing's good. That was the last one.
Mrs. Mosinski always worries me.
You bet.
She has a weapon on the table.
Yeah, so it's a little unusual, this process, but what I want to do is enable you and Gene to be able to work through that, because we don't have an opportunity to meet again before we close the warrant.
That's right.
So that's why we did it this way, for anybody paying attention to us. All right, all we have left is the minutes. Minutes. Everything else was approved. The Chief Renner wanted to move forward with doing the stretcher now, even though he's not going to order it for a while, but he has enough in there to satisfy that. Adam's Hot Box was all set. The trailer, we voted on that, to approve that, as well as an additional $4,000 for the records-keeping HVAC.
Notwithstanding any spelling or grammatical errors that may be found, I move that minutes be approved.
I second that.
Well, that's a heck of a disclosure.
So we have here,
First, he got in trouble with Gene. Now he's in trouble with Jill.
oh, he's been in trouble with me long before Gene. Absent, so she was unsure if he was excused, and I don't think we did.
If who was excused?
Ben,
Ben was excused. He got a hold of me.
okay, all right. All right, no problem.
As amended? As amended. Do I have a second from anybody?
I seconded
All
it.
right. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. So all we need now, since we don't have any other meetings to schedule, is a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. You want any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks.